Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage. Today I want to hopefully merge the new chassis with the old rusty body of the AZU. I have fixed most of the rust needed on the AZU body. There's still stuff that I want to fix and I need to fix, but I want to put it on the chassis first because there are some holes that would be nice if they line up in the end. Therefore I'm gonna do that. There are stuff that I would actually like to fix on the chassis before merging it, but because I'm looking for parts and waiting for parts, I want to use the time as effective as possible. So I'm gonna merge them today, hopefully. It's, for instance, I'm gonna do some work to the bearings and the kingpin up front. It would be a little bit more easy with it without a body, but it's definitely possible to do, so it's not gonna be a big deal. But before I can put the chassis underneath and start to align the mounting holes and all that, I need to shorten the chassis because this chassis can be used for different kinds of early A models, and the chassis legs are slightly too long for this model. So I'm gonna measure the old frame and then I'm gonna cut, and that's gonna hurt a little bit, and then I'm gonna cut a little bit of the rear chassis legs. And after that I also have to weld on the outriggers, because they are also missing on this chassis. On the old chassis that I measure on, you can see there's a hole right there and it's been cut through that hole. So either this is already a replacement or they even used the stock one at the factory and then just cut it to size, because that is a bit weird. But I have measured and measured again, and I really hope it's going to be all right. It doesn't have to be very precise, to be honest, but either way, it's hard to add more on if needed. But as long as this hole is there, I should be good to go. But I'm gonna cut it. There we go. And now I got exposed metal on the edges, so of course I'm gonna paint that. There we go. And next up it's the outrigger, and I'm gonna fit them and weld them on. And again, measure a lot. And this is all down to the fact that this chassis can be used for different kinds of models. There's also right here mounting for the seat belts on the rear seat. There's no rear seats on this one, so it's not used. I also am missing some holes for the seat adjustment. It is just plain holes in the top plate, so I'm just going to make them as well. But right now I'm just going to weld these in. I'm just going to add some weld-through primer underneath, just for the areas that is now not protected. I think I got the heat settings a little better on this side than the other one. This just goes to show how important it is to test your welding setup before starting, because this is, in my mind, perfect. This over here, it's plenty strong, but it's not looking very good, and it's, yeah, it'll have to do. But this is the look I like. So there we go, the outriggers are on. I just need some black paint when this is dried up. and then it should be fine. So I'm just going to clean up all this mess, and then it's time to roll it underneath that one. And then let's try see how it fits up. Now it's actually resting on the frame, and the frame is resting on the axle stands. I still need to align the holes completely, and I still also need to add some sound deadening insulation material between this and the chassis. It's just some foam. I don't know the real purpose other than probably to avoid rattles, I think. I expect the alignment is going to be an issue because it seems as though the holes are not where they are exactly supposed to be on the chassis. And everything is also flexing, and so it could take a while to align the holes. But it's starting to look like a car again, which is awesome. It is really awesome. And you could argue that this job would have been a whole lot easier if I had a helping hand. But I really like to do stuff like this myself. I like to try to find the correct solution to do it one person. And keep in mind, it's not extremely heavy. If this was several hundred kilos, I wouldn't dare to do this myself. But I can lift the entire housing myself. It's not easy, but it's possible. So, and also, you might notice that there is a lot of extra safety precautions down here. So, yeah, it's good. It's all good. And now comes the time to try to fit these floor panels and see if I can make the holes line up somewhat. And what I'm gonna do is to just fit some nuts that fits perfectly through the holes. There we go. There we go. I'm going to do the same on the other side, and then start to see if I can make the holes on the actual body still align to the chassis, or tweak it a bit. And then in the end I will have to weld this to this one, and as you can see, it's a bit far out there. It's meeting right there, but yeah, so I have to do some metalling. Probably think I will end up compressing the two sides together, because I think it has bellowed out a little bit from all those years without a floor pan attached, really. So I think so. A bit at least. So maybe I can just compress it together with the other side. But I'm gonna fit the floor pan on the other side as well. the same way and then start tweaking. There we go. It's decent. It's definitely decent. So, as you can see, there is an air gap right there. And it's the same on the other side. I think it's because these are curving out a little bit because it has been without a floor for many, many years. So I guess that's the reason, I hope. I'm gonna see if I can force it into shape. Well, I can because it's very flimsy, everything, but... I'd say that's pretty decent. So that's good enough. Yes, I did deform it slightly right there. But that's the great thing about working on an old dented car. It doesn't really matter too much. It'll be fine. But I think I will have to take the blades out now and make some holes for the spot welds. It's starting to look pretty decent. I think I can start to weld this in. But I'm just going to go ahead and continue and do the same on the other side. I'm not going to start welding before I'm satisfied with all the mounting points and so on. This will be time consuming, and I think I will do this in a couple of stages over the next few days to not get over focused on it. For me that helps, just to do some work, go away, do something else, and then go back and check everything, and just to refresh my mind a bit. But this was a huge progress on the AZU. Now we are starting to reassemble what I actually thought would be the actual work on this car. I didn't plan to remove the chassis, I didn't plan to remove the engine or anything. And soon we are back to that stage where we can actually do what I had hoped to do on this car, to revive what we have. But there were just so many things that had to be done. And even though it feels like I'm closing in on the target, there's a long way to go still. But this is a huge step. I hope to soon get the parts for the front suspension so I can get the wheels on and get the entire assembly down on the floor. I'm not going to fit the engine before it's down on the floor on its own tires, and then we can start up that engine, and that's also going to be very exciting. But this will be all for now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget you can support me on Patreon. It is helping me out a lot at the moment. So yeah, if you can spare a dime, head to the link in the description. And see you in the next one.